my kids had seen me work on these pictures for months.
Yeah.
And it was like, Daddy, are you famous? I was like, I'm just, I didn't really know how to explain it to them.
Right.
But I was like, Daddy's just working, and they had seen me work on this stuff, for months. And, my wife being able to give me the time to do that, being to look at it, and be like, nah, babe, I think you should do this and do that. But I'm glad they're able to witness how everything is growing. It's been real fun, man. I can't believe how some of this unraveled already.
Man, that's crazy, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like what you just said is like when you walking in your true purpose, man. And like you said, you just stay humble but not timid, and just see how things just flow. And God just made things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't.
That's the Lord God.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast, man. Listen, I got a great guest. I was just talking to him. I was saying, man, I've seen his artwork. I done went down this rabbit hole, seen all of the great things he's doing. And I was like, man, I got to get him on the show, man. I think it's something that's haven't been, for me, the people that's been on the podcast, we've done over, man, it's been so many episodes, but I haven't had, an artist and an educator all at one, in one space. And I was just like, man, I really want to get into it because it's people that are artistically gifted and really have a strength and a passion to do it, but they just don't know how. They don't know where to start. They don't know, kind of what to do to really harness that skill and really just get it out there for people to be able to see it and just partake in that skill. So just to kind of introduce everybody, introduce who I got on the show, I got Donald Wilson II, age 33. His career is an educator. He's also an illustrator and I believe an author as well. Bachelor's of Science in Retail Management, Master's in Elementary Education. He also has his Master's in Educational Administration, and he's been in the profession for 11 years. So Donald's been doing this thing for over a decade now, and has multiple, degrees, really just covered in just, different just skills. And so it's awesome to have you. But Donald, man, say what's up to the podcast, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Pleasure to be on the show. Can't wait to, share some knowledge and hear some great things as well.
Yeah, man, no doubt. So listen, Donald, everybody's usually new to the show, so we can't get it started without doing two truths and a lie. Now listen, I'm telling everybody in the that's watching, listening, I don't know Donald. I'm really good at two truths and a lie, but I don't know Donald. But after this interview, we're gonna get to know it. We're gonna know each other, and we're just gonna have a solid, foundation and be able to, whatever happens, venture, whatever I can do to help, and vice versa, helping some kids, we can do that.
That's right.
But let me hear those two truths and a lie, man.
All right, so let me see. A truth. I mean, not nothing too deep, but I was 100% against being a teacher coming into college.
Okay.
So that wasn't in the scope at all. Wasn't even thinking about it, turned against it. Even with educators in my family, number one thing was like, oh, they don't get paid enough. Because he's coming out of high school, we wanted to make that money. So
yeah.
That was something. I was not going to be an educator at all. What was the other truth?
Now I gotta guess the lie. Now you can't tell me. You gotta give me the statement. So you already gave me one. So I don't think you understood. You gotta give me three statements. Two of them is true. One of them is false. I gotta guess the lie.
Okay then. All right. Here we go. One, I coached football.
Okay.
Other one, I have never I have never taught art.
Okay.
And the third one would be I have they're not too revealing, but I have 3 sisters and 4 brothers.
Okay. Got you. So now I got to figure out. So one, you said you coach football. Number 2 is you never taught art, and then you said 4. You said 4 brothers and
3 sisters and 4 brothers.
3 sisters and 4 brothers. Okay, got you. Man, coaching football, man. You look like a coach, man. You look like you might have. It looked like you might have been out there, man, trying to, coaching. I don't know. That's terrible, stereotypical. Maybe, okay, taught art. I mean, you do art, but some people, it's difference between doing something and then being able to teach it. You know what I'm saying? I could be a good football player, but maybe I don't have maybe teaching is not in my cards. Like I can't teach you how to be like me, but. Could be, but I feel like I looked on the page. I know you got kids, family. Pretty sure maybe you teach them how to doodle or do X, Y, and Z. So I'm gonna say that's a truth. 3, you said 3 sisters, 4 brothers, and I think that's a truth as well. So what the lie is, I'm gonna say you coaching football. So I don't think you coach football, but I think the last 2 are truths.
Okay.
Yep.
So I get to tell you if you got it right or wrong now.
Yeah, you get to tell me.
You missed it. Missed it. I don't have any brothers. I don't have any brothers. I got 3 sisters, but I'm the only boy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Only boy from my mom and dad. So yeah, he's Donald Wilson Sr.
Yeah.
I'm the second. My son is the third.
Dang, how crazy? How was that growing up, man? Being 3 sisters and only one male. Like, what was that? What was that like?
Now, all the yard work, I hated it when it came to that because my dad. I literally I just came from my parents' house.
Okay.
And I was just visiting. I get out the car in 5 minutes. My dad had me on the lawnmower. So bro, no lie, I was just visiting, bro. So I got that, but on the other side. They gave me a lot of leniency and a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
To kind of, be a boy. They didn't want me, stuck at home with my sisters. So when I got to high school, I was a wild child, but they gave me, my freedom as a young man. So,
man, that's what's up. And you taught art. Do you still teach art, or was it a time period, where you was teaching art?
So I gave you a tester's type question, something we learn in education. I threw a not in front of it. So I have not taught art. No.
Wow. Okay. See, I gotta be better.
You get a test and they have not in front of it and it throw you off the whole question.
Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, so I got to get better, man. Well, shout out to you, Donna, man. You got me. I used to keep tallies on my record. I think I'm above 500, but who knows at this point. Who knows at this point, man. But, man, let's get right into it, man. So, man, Donna, I told everybody about you, man. I know you're an educator. You got artistically, super gifted as far as, just what you got going on with Don's Doodles. Talk to me about the beginning, man. What did you want to be, growing up? First of all, what was your first mindset, or one of the first things you ever said, I'm gonna be this when I get older? And what was that?
The first thing I can cognitively remember, man, actually not talking about elementary or whatever. You actually had a career project in middle school, and I was sold on it for years that I wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
I wanted to design buildings. I knew I had that skill to draw.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, design buildings, and start looking into programs that had those things in college to get into it. So architecture was, the thing I was sold on going as that was going to be my career. So a little switcheroo there. There's only one program in the state that offered it. But we end up going to USC that doesn't have architecture, but they offer me more scholarship money. So my parents kind of was like, "You gonna go where they give me the scholarship money?" So that kind of flipped it into, how I ended up going to USC, and I got a bachelor's in retail management but actually did nothing with that.
That's wild. I mean, and this is huge. I mean, you make up I see a good point here, and because when I was thinking, I was just like, man, a lot of people when they grow up, they want to be one thing, right? And then something happens along the way, and it just kind of redirects course. Whether it's a class you took, whether it's a teacher, whether it was just life circumstances. Me, I wanted to be an engineer, but I didn't make it because of trigonometry 1, 2, and 3. Man. Not gonna happen. So I was like, so I had to kind of redirect and really figure out what I wanted to do. And I really want to give people the opportunity to, when they hear people talk, they can understand that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to dibble and dabble in just different areas and really figure yourself out, because it's really a lot to put on somebody to say, what do you want to do for the rest of your life at 18, 19?
I preach that all the time, bro. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what was, obviously, you went to USC and they didn't have architect. What was your thought process in going into USC and saying, all right, what am I going to major in? Like, what am I going to do? Because you picked retail management, but like you said, you did nothing with retail management. So what was that decision process like?
Well, so, USC still has one of the top business programs in the country, and that's what I originally went into. I was like, all right, can I have architecture? I'm gonna be a business major.
Okay.
All right, get in there somehow. And as I, kind of delved into it a little more, got deeper, I really got interested into like the retail marketing of it, not marketing, in general, but like how retail stores did things.
Yeah.
Like that. So that really interests me, and that's how I ended up getting there from the business school to, into retail, into the retail department.
Got it.
So it was, I was so excited to be going to USC.
Yeah.
I didn't stress a lot about the, I made it. They're like, man, I go business, whatever. I'm going to USC.
Hey, we here now.
That was most of the excitement right there.
Yeah, for sure. Are you from South Carolina, or are you from a different part? You from South Carolina?
I'm from a small town called Rembert. Okay. It's not too far from Sumter. It's in Sumter County, but I'm from Rembert. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. And then, so we went to USC. We did with that. We liked, the retail marketing. So I think as far as like what retail marketing is more like product placement. Understanding the psychology behind it, or.
Yeah. I took had courses in that, of course, and then being in the retail management, actually managing a retail store, but the marketing part of it is just, being able to manage those big chain stores and things like that, and certain displays. You have to understand, the fashion part of it and all that. And that just interested me a lot, because it's, parts of, art culture that comes into marketing and that fashion and stuff like that. So that's the part that interests me, and a part of why I went into doing retail management.
Sounds good, man. Listen, I got all of USC on the podcast, man. It's crazy how y'all are so connected. I done talked to so many people from USC. It's wild. You wouldn't even believe it. And so go Cox. But what about, so obviously retail management, X, Y, and Z. We in college. Give me one positive thing about your college experience that you really enjoyed, and then also give me something that for people that's watching that they should be aware of, right? Something that obviously going to college, you get a lot of freedom. Your mom's dad, they not on you all the time. You kind of can wake up and you want to. If you don't want to go to school, you can say, it's raining, I ain't feeling it. So like, give me one positive about your college experience, and then one thing that people should be aware of as far as like what's the mindset you should have going into a college on a college campus.
All right, the biggest thing is for me, and now looking back, like the networking opportunities that you're gonna have in college, man. Like that's probably the number one reason I'm able to get a lot of, or being able to get some of the recognition and things that I have in, going into art, and illustrating, because that community you build in college is huge. Like when I'm doing a new comic, doing new illustrations, like the people that I went to school with that are retweeting, reposting, putting it in their story, that's USC fam. Being able to network with those people when I was, I still do it with like logos. You got people that at USC, they're with me or are starting businesses now.
Yep.
So hey, him, let me see if I can reach out to him to, give me a logo done, give me some artwork done, give me some marketing stuff done. Yeah. So the biggest thing is the networking more than anything.
Gotcha.
It was some great classes there, but the biggest thing that I took from USC is being able to network, reaching out to different people. I was at Pledge Alpha Phi Alpha, so my frat brothers were, big instrumental. They're starting new businesses and stuff now. Yeah. So being able to use them and outsource to them, things like that, that's the fun thing. The negative I would say to it is, I guess I used it as a negative. That networking, I didn't use it a lot with my instructors and professors.
Gotcha.
I think it's very important to build relationships with your professors and things like that. Yeah. But that's something that I lacked. I didn't use them as much and being able to build relationships with them. So that may be the one negative thing, because it's not like high school. They have a lot more classes, a lot more students, so they may not even know your name. So you have to, that's not something you pick up on naturally.
Right.
And I kind of lacked it going through college. The networking aspect when it comes to your teachers and your instructors and professors.
Gotcha. Is there a situation where you felt like, this would have been great for me if I would have knew or put more time in with this professor? You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time, most people wouldn't really say that unless it was like a situation as far as like, dang, like if I would have focused on networking, I possibly could have, made this happen, or this could have happened. Like, was there a situation for you, or are you just saying in general, like networking with your professors is definitely a key point of, doing well, trying to do well?
Well, it was actually an instance when I was I think it had to be my freshman year. I was really struggling with a class, and a lot of us in high school, a lot of us ain't studied in high school, so like we was like, okay, we go with the flow. You got a test today? Yeah, whatever. But
let me see your homework real quick.
So when you getting in college, it's like, man, I need to study, or I'm struggling with something.
Yeah. And
I got like a D on one of my tests, and that was weird to me, like, because high school was so easy, A's and B's, whatever, and that freaked me out. And instead of going to the professor, I struggled for like weeks in that class, and I don't think I had to.
Yeah.
And then keeping that same mindset as I was freshman year, so when I became a junior, I remembered that, and so I kind of worked with one of my professors on, being involved in this event, and this guy I gave like an introduction to was the same guy who was managing an intern program that I had to intern for some of my credits that summer. So he remembered that. So I was like, see, well, closed mouths don't get fed. Right. And so that was the main thing right there, because I started being vocal and saying, all right, I'm going to, trying to network with myself with, some professors or whatever. That helped me out, complete 180 of what happened freshman year. Yeah. Of me struggling through a class that I almost had to end up retaking.
Yeah.
And, just using that for help, man.
Yeah, I've definitely been there before. Like, when you said that, as far as like networking, so I don't know if I'm pretty sure like I see on Twitter is like Black USC, right? So like all the black kids kind of just stick together. We kind of look, try to look out for each other, and just, that's kind of who you vibing with, while you on campus. And not saying that you didn't vibe with other people, but it's different when it's your people, right? And you're going through the struggle and you're trying to get out of it. It's like, man, you taking this class, help me, do this. And so it is important to network, because, like you said, you never know what people get into after college. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so you never know what opportunities will come before you that you could possibly capitalize on. You never know who is going to be willing to help you, outside of college. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you were close in college and time went by 5-6 years, but because y'all had such a great time and they knew that you was a great person, it's like they'll never forget that. They was like, man, I could trust this guy and we can do something together. and we can, make something positive, out of this situation. And I think same way you talked about with professors, man, is like, that's something that I wish I did, is talk to my professors more. I was on the mindset of like, all right, it's easy. Just like you, it's easy. High school ain't really have to study. I'm a partner with somebody. If I don't know, I'm a partner with somebody. We're going to get it done. But
Exactly.
having those professors, man, I've seen a lot of people get jobs from that. Meaning they network with their professors, and their professors get so fond of them where it's like, hey, I know you want to do this. I got somebody that works in this department, check them out. And people don't understand, like, that's how things that things happen. You know what I'm saying? By networking.
No, you really feel the understanding of not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah.
And man, that's so true. That's so true.
And it's crazy. And it's cool. It sucks sometimes, but then it's also like it can be a blessing at times, especially if you using it right, using the power of networking right. And sometimes people aren't good networkers, but I always try to encourage people like, hey, get out your comfort zone and try to really just rub elbows with people. You don't got to do too much. You ain't got to get out your own lane, but you can at least say, hey, cup of coffee. Can I sit down with you here? Do something there. Something simple. So that's cool, man. We appreciate that, the positive and the kind of a negative of college. Now, coming out of college, we still got our bachelor's of science in retail management. So we didn't do much in retail management. So what was it like? You graduated. What was your mindset? Were you like, I got to go get my master's? Were you trying to get in retail? What was your goal or your plan outside of after you graduated?
I went in, I tried to, I went into banking after college. So I did that for a year. So, it's kind of, a retail field.
Yep.
One of the banks downtown in Columbia, and, being able to, working there, learn some of the ins and outs, whatever, which was a fun job. Got to meet people, but that wasn't the best for me, or best what I thought I could be doing.
Gotcha.
And I left this out. But when I was during undergrad, my job, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. It was like after school, so 2:30 to like 6. Monday through Friday, I'm, after school programs with kids, working with them. So I'm starting to love it, being able to. And at that time, the same kid that was saying, I ain't want to be no teacher in high school, I got to like junior year or partway through my junior year, like, man, I could be a teacher. But then at that time, I'm like, man, I'm not changing my major, junior year.
Yeah.
So what happened, when I was working at the bank, my sister, she had already became a teacher. My older sister, she was like, they were doing a program the next year. It was, you see a lot of more programs like this now where they're trying to get young Black men back into the classroom. Yeah. And this one in Clarendon was like the first of its kind in the state that was doing that. And it was only spots for six guys. And, all right, I'm gonna try it out. And the thing with it, not only were we gonna, put you in the schools, they were gonna pay for us to get our masters. Okay. So I was like, man, yeah, I gotta jump onto that. So I got into that. Was in Clarendon 1 for 3 years, down with Scotts Branch, those schools, whatever. And I was there for 3 years while I was coaching pretty much everything, and earned my master's. And that was it. That was all she wrote. And how I ended up here now.
That's crazy. So do you teach a certain grade level? Like, what is it that you teach as an educator every day?
So the past 8 years, I've been teaching 5th grade math. I've taught math, science, and social studies. Not the greatest writer. I guess that's why my talents went to drawing. I ain't the greatest writer. Gotcha. So like I math, science, and social studies for 5th grade. And then, this year I've been taking not really a step back, but not as much in the classroom, because I've been over, kind of like the science lab department for our school, being able to interact with more grades and everything like that. But mainly, the bulk of my teaching career, I've taught 5th grade.
Got you. What's it like, being a black male teacher? I talk to female teachers, and we all know. Like, I'm a advocate of teachers are very much underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
They're with your kids probably 75 to 80% more than parents are. It depends on the situation. But what is it like being a black male teacher? You know what I'm saying? Like when you
Yeah,
see when you
yeah.
see when you see kids that may not come from like the best home, but they got the most best. You can see so much potential in them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like that gotta be a crazy feeling just to be like, man, you got it. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's a lot outside of this four wall building that could tear you away from what your potential is. Like, what is it like? Being a teacher, man.
It's a lot of emotions, man. I gotta say, like, from initial jump, it's like being the cool uncle,
Yeah.
the fun uncle, because a lot of the kids, and I've heard that, hey, you look like my uncle, or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or you be in class and they call instead of Mr. Wilson, you hear, Daddy. Whoa, hold on. That's happened a lot, man. They just call you that, and I have to laugh, and then at the same time, I have to look at it as like endearment, because I'm connected them like a dad, not trying to take their father's spot or whatever. But for them to call me that, they had to feel some kind of nurture behind that.
Yeah,
and that's the fun part of it, man. And you realize how much influence you have with these kids, especially once they know you care.
Yeah.
Because when we go into schools, a lot of times they want to see the black male has to be the disciplinarian. He has to, put his foot down. You got to do that. And I'm not saying I'm shy away for that, or I don't do that, because when it's time to get them right, I get them right. I was joking with some people last week. Like, yeah, man. When it's time, they see, Mr. Wilson come down the hallway like Debo. Put the candy up. But they also know they can have fun with me. I'm a joke with them, and I want the best out of them.
Yeah.
But it takes time to do that. Being able to see that potential in kids, and finding what's good in them, because not every student is not going to have A and B honor roll.
Yeah.
But what is you good at something.
Yeah.
And if I can help you figure that out, let's do it. Right. And the biggest thing was whatever, to gain the kids' trust and gain the parents' trust. I always talk about how, we wonder why don't parents trust teachers, anymore? Why they so quick to jump on teachers?
Right.
And a big part of that is the teacher's fault, what I'm saying by that is, when I was younger, in elementary school, we had teachers that had been there for 15, 20 years, taught cousins.
Yeah, and, your whole family tree. They know your mama, daddy.
So they know that teacher, they trust them. So every word come out this teacher's mouth, if they said that teacher said you did something, you did it.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna, but if because of the current system of the of schools, and I don't say it's all teachers' fault, because we may get into a school system that we don't agree with, or everyone doesn't get along, and a lot of teachers may stay in a school, a year, 2 years, and leave.
Yeah,
and that doesn't give parents or the community long enough time to get to know this person, their best interests. They feel like teachers are good people, but they're not going to initially just trust you. I want to know this person and I'm going to trust them. No. And that's what, I don't try to bounce. I've been at my school, 8 years. Okay. So I've been able to teach cousins, and, I had your sister 3 years ago. Yeah. Oh yeah. I said, so, I'm more apt to, hey, Mr. Wilson, you got my boy this year, watch out. If you need,
handle them,
pull them over to the side, just let me know that. But I had to earn that,
Right.
I had to earn that. It wasn't going to tell me, I'm teacher first year at that school. Oh yeah, whatever. They're not going. They need to learn to trust me first and see, how I care about them. So it's a bigger system issue. and I know you're not just gonna stay anywhere where you feel disrespected or neglected,
Mm-hmm.
but part of that is teachers aren't being able to stay where they would like to, all right, or just being able to adapt to where they are. So I feel like if we get ever back to get the education system ever back to teachers wanting to stay at this school or this district for a long period of time,
yeah,
a lot of trust will come back to teachers. It'll make our jobs a little less stressful. That's the big thing about it. I love being a part of it and interacting with families and seeing them. And I know a part of it because of my longevity in that certain school.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Like I never heard that perspective before. When I talk about the school system and what it's like I've never heard a teacher say some of it is on is on the teachers, right? And I do see a lot of turnover as far as like within the school system. People will hop in, they want to be a teacher and they do 1 to 2 years and it really comes to the point of like, and this is what I mean by, I think for college, they always do the internships at the end of like your 4 years, when I really think the internships need to be in the beginning. And the reason why is because if I can go intern as like a freshman while I'm taking prerequisite classes, nothing that's really going towards my major, I can figure out if being a teacher is for me. If I can't handle kids, I don't need to be no teacher. Don't say you want to be a teacher because it's cool, because at the end of the day, being a teacher is cool, but your I would assume the main focus is how do you, nurture, kids? How do you teach them? How do you prepare them for going into the next grade level year after year after year? And you spending a lot of time with them. But if you have a short fuse, mentally you can't take it. Like you chose the wrong career. Now you quitting. We got to double back. We got to go back to school. We got to figure out what we want to do. And it's a long process, and I'm not saying that the process isn't necessary, because you live and you learn. But I do believe if we could get more internships, getting kids tapped in with people in careers that they really like, and just say, hey, like, create a program as far as like a shadow program, like come shadow, me and really see what it's like, the good and the bad, because I want to prepare you.
That's true. I think I said that same thing a few years ago. One of the other things I do is I'm an instructor for Upward Bound at USC, and we had a student ask that question a few years ago. How you know what you wanted to be or whatever. And I told him like it's a lot to ask of y'all to pick what you want to do for the rest of your life at 17, 18. But if you could, the things that you are interested in, find and reach out to people. Ask them if you can shadow them, come out and check them out, whatever. That would help them out. And I think it would be better if, schools and the state, have programs for kids to be able to do that rather than they feel like they have to do it themselves, I think that would help them make better decisions, future wise. And on that, intern program with educators, not just, interning throughout the whole 4 years, or at the beginning to see if that what you want to be. One of the things I've said about that is I don't think they should be able to certain students shouldn't be able to kind of like pick their schools that they intern at. Like, hey, we're gonna throw you here and see what it's like, because you can go into a school that's got funding off the wall, all light, and then they can sit down to this Title I school, that you're not comfortable in. You're like, oh, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. But the thing is, most schools are like that. Title I school. Not every school has appropriate funding and major funding like it should be. So I used to say this when new teachers come in and I have to mentor. I was like, first off, that Miss Frizzle stuff you saw on Magic School Bus, that's fake. Miss Frizzle, like, let's just get that past your head. Like Miss Frizzle ain't came in that school happy every day. No. So, but that's just, the realism that you come with in education. Not everything you're going to learn in them classes.
Gotcha.
Being able to intern and, reach out and things like that is really going to help. future prospective teachers.
Perfect, man. That's crazy. I think that was a good, like I said, a good perspective I never really heard before, and I really appreciate that, and just being able to dive on there, because I do remember, like, I was in elementary, and an elementary teacher taught my mom, and she was like, "Yeah, I used to teach you back in," and I'm like, what? At the time I'm young, but at the same time, like, because of that respect and that rapport, you know what I'm saying, you could trust the word of the teacher a little bit more, because it's like, you know, she ain't got no reason to lie. She been my teacher. Why would she need to lie? You know what I'm saying? And so that is a good point. Last thing I want to talk about, as far as just like teaching goes, right? Was, you know, how does technology help and hurt your students at times? And I just had this conversation today, as far as like, somebody was saying that kids don't have those soft skills anymore, meaning looking people in the eye, shaking a hand, maybe even writing. Sometimes I don't know if writing has decreased in schools, as far as like penmanship. But how does technology, from a teacher standpoint, how does it help, and also what are areas where you see it hurt it as well too?
As far as like keeping us connected, venturing outside of the classroom, right while you're in the classroom, that's where the technology comes into play at. Because being like, say we jump back to that shadowing idea, being able, now that we have technology, anybody can, you know, if I want my kids to shadow an engineer, and they can't get to this factory or whatever they're at because it may be dangerous. You know, we could zoom them right in from the classroom. He show us what's going on right there. So technology is great, you know, when it comes to that. And then a lot of students, what we think, kids know their stuff. They can use iPad at 1 year old, or whatever. They that's not tech savvy. They know how to utilize what's in front of them like a tool, just like we know how to utilize, you know, that Nintendo controller or PlayStation controller when we were younger. That's what's in front of them. They can utilize it, but can they use it, but can they properly utilize it to help them? And that's where we have to make a bridge with in class, with that. Because a lot of when you come to state testing, most schools now, mine is one of them, it's all on the computer. But we find a problem that, all right, for the writing test or the writing part of it, the kids have to type up, you know, their passage, but they don't know how to type.
Wow.
They can punch keys. Yeah, they've been doing that.
Yeah.
But as far as typing, so like the writing thing would take hours because they just pecking away. But when I had a keyboarding class, you know, having a keyboard class in school where we showed
they used to test
this. That's a part of the bridge that, you know, they assume kids know, but they don't. You know, we put that computer over here, and there it goes. And then the other part that is negative about it is, I encourage, you know, especially I like kids do research. They don't all have to go to the library to do that, because library is not special school library is not going to have everything you need to research. So being able to use it right then and there, that's fun. But then the bridge for that, kids don't know how to Google. They'll type in something, and you know, Google gives you the links.
Yeah, the links.
They don't know to click the link. They just see, okay, they're giving me this information here. That's what I'm gonna take. Like, whoa, hold on, like,
no.
Click the link and read what it takes you to. Not right there. Oh, there you go. No,
it's deeper than that.
Yeah, so the worst thing of it, kids have, you know a lot of information already, and have a lot of the know-how of the computer. But when it comes to certain things, it needs to. They didn't have a bridge to get there. They're like, okay, I'm on this end, but how did I get here?
Right.
So trying to connect, like I say, you want them to type a paper, but they don't know how to type properly.
Yep.
You want them to research, but they don't know how to research properly. So those are things that technology, you know, we're glad that we had the ability to have them.
Yep.
But giving them the know-how and how to use it properly, that's that's the negative part about technology there.
Dang. Man, that's tough, man, because technology, when used correctly, can be a very beautiful, fast-paced thing. But I feel like you said, it's like we missing a gap somewhere, right? As far as like the real skill set of, whether it's researching, whether it's typing, whether it's writing, you can really, forget about those skill sets. That's what kind of makes people, you good. You if you got a skill set as far as within literature, you had to know how to write punctuation. Know what commas, where to put the comma, and all that. And sometimes what I hear a lot with teachers and what I hear a lot with parents is like the kids don't really know how to do that, and it's going too fast. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you feel like you need to slow it back down a little bit, but technology just got us moving at light speed, and because we're going so fast, we can miss a couple of steps, right? And if you miss those steps more often than none, you'll start to see with the generation, you'll see a bigger gap. But I think it's gonna work out in its favor. I think once we really gotta, whatever. Like I said, I think with increasing the pay for teachers is gonna help a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be motivated to get up. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not making what you want to make, or you feel like you're not being comfortable living comfortably, it's hard to get in there and really say, I want to, make a difference today. I want to do, put my all in it today, because you're not being compensated. When there's people out here that barely work, but getting compensated twice as much. You know what I'm saying?
You're exactly right, bro.
So it's tough.
So that gives you more of an incentive. It gives you, it pushes your breaking point a little further. Because you may get stressed out of that job, but then if you're like, well, I am making this,
I'm gonna sit right here.
But really, teachers don't, for a large amount of teachers, especially if you're talking about you coming straight out of school just with a bachelor's.
Yeah.
You in there and you get to that breaking point. There's nothing holding you back. Like, man, I'm sick of this, and then I ain't paid enough. I'm out. Yeah. So then I can go and work somewhere else and make, I can have less stress or something, and then make this about and more.
No doubt.
And people are going to do that. It's not, especially if they make up their mind that I don't want to do this anymore at all. Mm-hmm. And that has to be a sad state of affairs for your, Department of Education. Mm-hmm. When people who have went to college for 4 years have been like, you know what, forget this. I don't even want. And not in 4 years done internships, taking, practice tests, 1, 2, 3 tests, and then for them to be like, nah, I'm done.
That's disgusting.
You need to look at it like, man, what is going on? Mm-hmm. It has to be bad. People are doing that. Mm-hmm. So it needs to be better, for teachers, especially in our state, and nationwide. When talking about compensating them fairly for the things that they're doing.
For sure, man. Well, appreciate you, Donald, man. Listen, we coming to a tail end of the conversation. I really wanted to say the best for last, and really just go into the illustration and the doodling, and just ask a couple of questions about it, and just, figure out where did when did it all start? So, that's my biggest question. Like, when did you know that you could draw, and then how did you get it from me just, you just doodling and then going into illustrating books? And I think I heard about something about a Target, the Target special or whatever. I seen that on your page, and I was like, man, if that ain't my wife, get up out of there, please.
Yeah, bro. That how everything unfolded, man, just a blessing. I've been drawing all my life, especially, in the past few years since it really took off. Mm-hmm. My mom has been finding old things I drew at home and bringing them back to me or whatever. Yeah. And it's just been something that's been going on. All friends in class, hey, Donald, can you draw something for us? Yeah. And stuff like that. And I remember actually in elementary school saying I wanted to illustrate books. I can remember that. And what happened? So when I started teaching, Our teachers have those charts in their room. A lot of them would have Garfield on them or some historical charts. And I wanted to be the most real teacher for my students to have. And I looked in one of these like teacher supply stores one day, and I was like, none of these are on topic. All these suck. Like, I'm not putting these up in my room. And I started drawing my own, I started drawing every chart that was in my room. I hand drew.
That's crazy.
I got markers. I went to the office. I was like, hey, y'all got any more markers? I'll be running out of them. Every 9 weeks I got to get another box. Yeah. And then I laminated them so I could keep them.
Right.
So they wouldn't tear up or whatever. So people would come in my room and be like, oh, where'd you get these? I was like, I drew them. Like, whatever.
They ain't believe you.
People don't believe you, dog. So that went on for a few years there. And what happened, we hired a young guy at our school. Name is Bruce Kirkland. Check him out on Instagram, Master Bruce or whatever. And he's also an artist. And he's said the same thing when people usually do when they come in my room. Yo, Wilson, who did these? I was like, I drew them. You lying, whatever. He didn't do this. And so he showed me some of his stuff that he's worked on. I was like, bro, how you get it? I've been trying to figure out how to get my art digital for years. Like, what did you do? Yeah. He put me on. He was like, man, get you an iPad, Procreate, get your Apple Pencil, and go to work. And he brought his from home so I can play around with one day. Right. And I was like, bro, this is dope, man. Yeah. So that was probably like November 2019. And my wife was probably maybe October, whatever. And my wife asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I said, I want an iPad and an Apple Pencil.
Yeah.
And bruh, that was all she wrote after that. And we got out, so that was December 2019, March 2020, we got out for the pandemic. And when we got out, I was drawing like nobody's business, bro. And things just started, when I started putting it out there, I was like, all right, just now I'm gonna put it on Instagram. Yeah. And people read back, whatever. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try some more. I did like a healthcare hero series, just thanking all of the healthcare workers at the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah. Got picked up on Watch Fox. Got a friend of Clairvaux from there reached out, like, man, can we share this on our section of the news report or whatever? I was like, yeah, of course, man. Yeah. So it dropped on the news, and so it starts picking up a little more attention. And then we had a few months later had a young frat brother named Jamarcus Little, and he was like, "Hey, frat, I got a children's book written. And I need an illustrator. You ever illustrated any books before?" I was like, "Nah, I never done that before." But he trusted my work and seen what it is, and he was like, "Let's do it." So I did his book. Fantastic book. I loved it. Very proud of him for putting that out. And it kept rolling after there, man. And since then, I've done 5 other books. I started doing comics, and that's one of the things that I'm still doing. I guess I don't have a whole bunch of social media followers, but that's why I picked up probably another 3,000 followers from doing my comics, whatever like that. Target got hold of them because I was like most men, we make fun of our wives going into Target, staying in there forever, saying they get one thing, come out with a whole cart. Yeah. And that was my first comic I ever did. Not thinking, I wasn't doing it for Target. I was just making it as a joke, and I tagged them in it. Yeah. And maybe a month later, they reached out, like, can we share this? Yeah, of course y'all can share it.
That's Target. What you mean?
All that. And so I did that for them, did some more comics. Then they reached out again. Hey, can you mind doing 3 more for us? Of course, I did 3 more. And then, my latest book, probably one most people have seen, for a guy in well, a newscaster in Chattanooga, Greg Funderburg, and that was like one of the first time I've experienced, how much this illustration thing could mean, because he had a whole event, book signing, dinner, whatever like that. Yeah. And I was just amazed, man. The people that were reaching out, like, man, we don't even know you, but you're an inspiration. Yeah. Like, man, this is crazy. Like, so just seeing where it could take me and being able to reach out into different circles. That Jermaine's wife, Bam Strong, did a book for him of motivational things. More, you can network through family too. So my sisters, my older sister, her line sister, I did 2 books for her. Yeah. It's just been amazing, man. Having so much fun working on some things now, and get them to come out. But the illustration thing, man, I know I was kind of long-winded on that, but it's almost like a movie. Yeah. How everything played out. Just being humble at the beginning, being able to being humble but not timid. A lot of times we confuse the two. That thinking you humble, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. Nah, you can be humble, but still like, hey, I'm confident in what I'm doing. I want to put it out there. I want to, see what type of feedback it gets, and has helped me to build, build my brand. And having my wife be a big part of that, and my kids being able to see, how it's growing, whatever like that. Because I love drawing them, and when they got to see the book signing, they looked at, he had an event, so he had pictures of us, in the mall set up, and my kids had seen me work on these pictures for months. Yeah, and it was like, Daddy, are you famous? I was like, I'm just, I didn't really know how to explain it to them. Right. But I was like, Daddy's just working, and they had seen me work on this stuff, for months. And, my wife being able to give me the time to do that, being to look at it, and be like, nah, babe, I think you should do this and do that. But I'm glad they're able to witness how everything is growing. It's been real fun, man. I can't believe how some of this unraveled already.
Man, that's crazy, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like what you just said is like when you walking in your true purpose, man. And like you said, you just stay humble but not timid, and just see how things just flow. And God just make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't,
God, man.
That what I'm saying. You did not know that the skill that you have will be able to put you in places and put you in rooms that you've already been in, and who knows what rooms are to come. And when you explained it, it's just like, bro, like people just got to understand. It may not happen when you want it. It may not happen, as quick as you want it, but if you stay diligent in the process, you've been drawing since elementary, a skill that you've been working on since elementary, and now 2019, you get the iPad, you get to put on the technology, and then you just start going to work, man. It's crazy. I love it.
It's just crazy, man. Being able to get back to something I always want to do. Like when I mentioned the architecture thing earlier, I went in that because, wanted to draw. Mm-hmm. And probably the reason, going into business, it was something easier to pick, of course. Yep. And so broad. And then when I got into college, you start hearing about people majoring like media arts and graphic design. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. In high school, I had no idea what graphic design and media arts was. That could have been something possibly I could have majored in at that point. But, I'm not going to, rush God's timing, how he put things. But, that just goes back to some of that interning stuff me and you were talking about for kids to be able to do. If I had heard of that, that's another avenue, but it's God's timing, man. I trust him.
For sure, man. Hey, we ain't gonna let you walk away and flex on us like that either, Thompson. 3K followers, that ain't nothing. Man, listen, people out here struggling with 1,500. 3K. But nah, man, that's super dope, man. And I definitely looked at some of your work, Jeremiah's New Beginnings, The Morning After. some of those books, just being able to kind of look at them. And like I said, Jaquane's book, I've seen that one in person, front to back, just because I don't know if Denzel Milton. He's yeah. So that's so his wife and my wife best friends.
Okay.
So we kind of hang out all the time when we back home in South Carolina. But when they got the book, I was able to see the artwork, and I was like, man, that is dope. Like, just the book itself is dope, and then just to see the illustration of the representation of what we look like, the skin color, the hair texture, just being able to see that, and for the little kids like theirs to see that, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's the big thing right there, man. Let the kids see what they look like, in literature, and that they're a part of this world too.
Yeah, man. Well, Donald, we came to the end of the show, man. I hope you had a great time. I had a good time understanding and getting to know you more, and then understanding your path and your journey, and understanding that you stayed the course. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, even through adversity, through different situations in your life. Being a teacher, being able to help kids, little things. If you look back at it, it's kind of crazy. Like, everything that's done happened, it's led you to this point now. We talk about business, retail management. When you start getting these deals with Target, you got to know how to facilitate those. You know what I'm saying? And then, and just doing it for the, and then working with kids and understanding what kids, where kids may lack and what kids may need, is like, when I hear it and then I see it, it's like, man, you can't make that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but what we do to end the show, man, is I got 6 questions. These 6 questions you got to answer in 5 seconds. So they're not long-winded questions, but you got 5 seconds apiece for each question. After we get done with that, I just need a recommendation, and this is how we keep the podcast moving, right? A recommendation of somebody that is that you think is dope, somebody that you think can add value to the podcast. Because for me, it's all about giving different perspective to people, right? And I want to say kids, right? That's probably my main niche, but it's adults sometimes that go through career changes and they don't know what. Like, I got this passion, I got this skill set, but how do I translate that into a profitable or monetize it, right? So if you can just be thinking about that recommendation for me after we play this, I'll get that recommendation, and then I'll just ask you if you can make the connection for me, whether they like to be reached out through Instagram, email, cell phone, whatever the case may be. I'll reach out and let them know. But if you could just say, hey, this guy Armand, I just did his podcast, legit. If you want to do it, you can say yes. If not, it's all good.
Definitely do that, Armand.
Gotcha. Okay, so what's the quality people enjoy about you?
Creativity.
All right, gotcha. 25 hours in a day, not 24. 25 hours, so you got an extra hour. How do you spend the extra hour?
Drawing.
Okay, that's easy. All right, this might be hand in hand, but I don't know. What's something / activity that you can do every day besides sleeping?
Play with my kids.
Dope. What's more memorable, movies or music?
Movies.
Oh, let's go, bro. I say movies all the time, but people always say music. And
I love movies, man. They itch me to come out, man. If I can't see them the day they come out, like the Batman, the Marvel movies, I gotta see all of them, dog.
Hey, man, I feel the same way, man. I'm a movie buff, and I just connect with movies. Like, I don't know, man. It's just I can connect with movies. I can hear, and people say I can hear music and can relate it to a movie. Like, I could be like, I bet you don't know what movie that's from. Or I can hear a line and be like, you don't know what that movie that's from. And my wife hates it. She be like, no, I don't know. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I tell her. Okay, so 2 more. If you could time travel, what period would you go back to?
Ooh. Pre-1500s.
Pre-1500s.
Yeah.
Why?
And not necessarily in America either. I want to see how our people really were in Africa, man.
That's a good one.
That's been something that's been on top of me for like years. Yeah. I just want to see the royalty and the kingdoms and the, the fellowship and villages that we had, the education that people, we always, when they talk about Africa, they don't think of formal schooling, but that was there.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see, pre, slave trade, whatever like that.
Yeah.
The type of kings and royalty we were.
That'd be crazy. Like, that'd be too dope. Like, I wish, because, I mean, imagine seeing that. Man, you'll walk totally different. If black people really saw how we was.
Seriously, man.
We'll have...
all these things about how all those, this is, I had to go back further than what I just said, but, those Greek scholars, they talk like Socrates and stuff, that came to Africa getting that knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, being able to, like, man,
we've been putting them on game. We've been putting them on game.
Been
putting them on game. So, all right. So, this is the last one. So, favorite TV show to binge watch?
The Office.
The Office. Okay. Cool. I like The Office. I'm not a huge Office fan, but I hear a lot of people like everybody love The Office. So, it's just like, all right.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, bet. Cool, man. Well, Donald, man, thank you so much, man. I enjoy, like I said, I enjoyed my time. It's awesome, man. I really hope that if there's anything that I can do as far as like with the podcast, anything that I can do to help you out, just be able to, whatever the case may be, man. I want you to be able to reach out to me as far as like, if, I'm trying to, because I stay in Houston. My roots are in South Carolina, like Rock Hill, South Carolina. So it's easy.
Okay.
Like if I was back home, it'll be easier for me to go into the schools, but I'm trying to work my way and find people that I know to get into the school system, because I really think what we have going on as far as like the podcast, being able to, if you go on my social media, you can find under the highlights, you can look at all the different careers I sat down with and see the names and people and look at their Instagram. So some of the stuff that you were talking about as far as like shadowing, maybe interning, you could probably tell your students like, hey, look at this, and just kind of look at some of the qualities that these people have, or whatever resonates with you the most, and you can reach out to those people, because the people that I sit down with, they don't mind answering questions, they don't mind helping, at the best, the best way they can. So
not at all.
I would love to, however I can help, just keep me in mind, man. It doesn't have to be nothing crazy, but just I would love to help and just be able to give game and just give a lot of, use this platform to the best of his ability to be able to help somebody in need. So.
Most def, bro. We definitely gonna connect on that, man. Yeah. We got like mine. Got to keep prospering and bringing each other along. So I'm with that.
That's dope, man. So who you got for me? Your recommendation.
All right. So my recommendation is gonna be Michael Morgan. All right. Okay. This is a cousin of mine. We grew up like brothers, we're first cousins, whatever. But he was I guess a little brief synopsis on him. He was, went to John C. Smith, played some football, majored in computer science. Mm-hmm. And, even with his career now, him and, another cousin of mine, they have a clothing line.
Okay.
And I got to say, I always get on him because I'm like 2 weeks older than him to the day. But, it was something that, I was inspired by him to, get that off the ground. Mm-hmm. I have a clothing line called Paulion.
Okay.
And you can see it on Instagram, Paulion brand. And then, check him out on Instagram along with, with that page.
Definitely.
But yeah, him and my cousin, so Mike and my cousin Josh, they kicked that off. And, I was just inspired by them, to be young and black, yep. Starting off a clothing line. Not getting help from, saying, oh man, can you help me out with this? Nah, they grind it, and Chuck it out, got their own clothing line. I support them all the time. Shirts and clothes. If I'm, when I went to the book signing, I had on some of his clothes.
Yeah,
just being able to support my people, man. We quick to pick up some designer, grab a Chanel, a Gucci, a Louis. Yeah. Like, man, they already famous. Man, I want to put on for my people, being so definitely. I think both of them be willing to hop on podcasts and kind of explain that process and things like that, and just another inspiration. Because you know how many kids are actually, you know, a lot of kids are saying they want to have their own clothing line.
Yeah.
You know, you understand, you know, how to go about it. Yep. You know, how to brand yourself, how to put it out there.
Yep.
So
that'll be dope.
That's my guys are for you, Mike Morgan and Josh Battle.
That'll be dope, man. So listen, all I ask is that you just send me, you know, whatever you can do. If you can just send me their information, I'll get in contact with them, do the grunt work, but then just nudge them and just say, hey, this guy's gonna reach out to you. It's nothing crazy or nothing like that. And you know, hopefully I can get them on the show, because I'm always looking to just talk to more, you know, entrepreneurs and more, you know, people that's just driven, man. It don't have to be clothing or whatever the case may be, but just any and everything, because people need to peep game and be able to see other people working hard, exactly, and accomplishing goals. But man, thank you. I'm gonna give you back the rest of your night, man. I don't want to hold you up too much. It was right at an hour, so man.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, man. But like I said, if there's anything I can do, anything you need, just let me know. And likewise, man, just vice versa. All right.
I appreciate your Armand, man. Love what you're about, man. Keep building, keep growing, bro.
Man, thank you. Same to you, man.
All right.
All right. Peace.